Welcome and thank you for being with us tonight, January 31st, 2024, at the Torrance Candidates Forum for City Council District 2, 4, and 6. My name is Gloria Gutierrez, and I'm the president of the League of Women Voters of Torrance area. This league represents Torrance, Gardena, Lomita, Harbor City area, and Carson. The League of Women Voters is a trusted membership organization that encourages informed and active participation in government. We do not endorse or oppose candidates or political parties. The League participates in issue advocacy and voter education. The advocacy arm of the League may take positions on issues such as a rise in ballot measures. This forum is presented by the education arm of the League, which does not take positions or advocate for them. To find out more about our upcoming events, you can go to our table outside or on our website at lwvtorrancearea.org. You can also go there to join our mailing list. We have a closing survey available. The paper copy looks like this, and you could get it on the outside table, or for those who are declining paper, which is great, we have it as a QR code. So you can go online and fill out an online survey and save a tree, or part of one. Our membership table has other information about the upcoming events. Now, I'd like to invite our moderator, Ryan Razone, to the podium.
That's very nice, although the person who really does all the work is our president at the League of Women Voters, Gloria Gutierrez. Everyone, give it up for Gloria. Gloria gives a lot of her time to all of us. I'm Ryan Razon. I'm grateful to help out on the board at the League of Women Voters. So big thank you to Torrance City Cable. Thank you for recording this. Thank you to the Torrance City Clerk, Rebecca, for arranging the use of this space. A lot of work went into this, and we're grateful to all of you. We need to do some reminders. Number one is to our candidates. Congratulations on being candidates. Now's a good time to take a deep breath, lower your shoulders, get the tongue off the roof of your mouth, feel good, smile. Everyone else, the candidates have all agreed to participate under guidelines that we set out on this forum. That means that the guidelines are posted all over the place, right here and out front. We call for rules of civility. That's not just for the candidates, but for all of us in this room, please. The hallmark of democracy is the willingness of our community to treat each other with courtesy and respect, and it's in that spirit that we're all here today. We're going to engage in a vital part of our democratic process, and that's civilized discussion. So thanks for abiding by all those rules. In addition to supporting all neutrality, Gloria talked about that, assisting with making most of our time together here at the League. Please, no more applause. Thank you for applauding Gloria. She deserves it. But no more applause, no other responses. Please, until the very end. Also, as a matter of courtesy, now's a really good time to just turn your phones off. Don't silence them. Turn them off. Put them on sleep, but I say turn them off. Campaign literature, not allowed in this room, but go ahead and go crazy outside with all the campaign literature you want. Buttons, T-shirts, signs, not permitted in this room, please. We're maintaining neutrality, and we're trying to take it seriously. Thanks to all those who are public servants, former public servants, those who give so much to our community in this room. We see many of you. Tonight's forum, again, is being recorded by City Cable. It will be available to watch, and without edits, mind you, from beginning to end, and that's in compliance with the United States Federal Communications Commission rules on YouTube. It's also on our website, on social media, for broader community access. Go ahead and help us spread the word and share it all over the place. You can find links, again, at lwvtorrancearea.org or through 411.org. This is some very specific disclaimer language. The League of Women Voters is not responsible for any content of any recording that's not arranged for or agreed to by the League here. Okay, in addition to the local races here on the ballot, there's one other measure and other measures that you should consider. The QR code in the foyer with the link to Prop 1. You can find pros and cons in video and written format. And the League is also hosting the candidate forum from District Attorney for LA County. That's next Thursday at LA City College. It'll also be available on Zoom. If you go to our website, you can register for that Zoom. You can also find all the other events related to the election on our website. Okay, tonight we have 3 elected positions on the agenda, a total of 7 candidates. The candidates will participate in this forum with districts seated in numerical order. That's District 2 on stage right, audience left, District 4 there in the middle, and District 6 on the far right, stage left. They drew randomly the order in which they would sit and answer questions. So those are some ground rules. We're going to have 2 minutes of opening remarks and then 1 minute per question. We have terrific timers here who are going to help us abide by those very strict timing rules. And let's talk about the people in the league, the people who are helping out. No campaigning on city property. Important reminder. Any questions about that? You can let us know. No campaigning at all on city property, right? Away from city property. Good rule. Good reminder. An important safety tip. By the way, exits back there, bathrooms out in the foyer. Any questions about safety, let us know. But there are people here giving a lot of their time, and they put a lot of time into this thing. Timers, Margie Hoyt, Sue Herbers, thank you. From the league, timekeepers will signal candidates with those colored signs, one for 1 minute, one for 30 seconds, and then stop. We're going to follow those rules, yeah? Question gatherers over here, Deepti Kanapan, Carrie Gilbert. Deepti, thank you. Carrie Gilbert. Audience members arrive. You can fill out questions. See Deepti, see Carrie. And our sorters are Athena Paquette, Nanette Pastor Hannah. That's a hard job. Thank you all. Sitting next to Gloria. So here's the thing about the questions. They are screened to avoid duplication and anything inappropriate. If you'd like your question posed to a specific district, please specify that. The order of answering the questions was already determined, and all candidates for district will get the same questions, but the questions may be varied between districts so we don't get too much repetition. We're trying to keep this lively and upbeat. So no separate rebuttals, please. Candidates, thanks for agreeing to that in advance. No separate rebuttals. Each candidate gets 2 minutes for a closing statement. You can put rebuttal information in there. So now the time for candidates to answer questions. Here we go. We're going to go opening remarks, 2 minutes, and we're going to start with Councilmember Bridget Lewis. Your 2 minutes starts now.
Thank you, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting us here tonight. This is an important event. I'm running because I believe in the power of community, and I believe in the potential always for positive change. During my time on council, I've promoted and advocated it for our community, not just as one district, but as one community of Torrance. I have a background in public safety, government, and public service, and through that, I've been able to witness our city's challenges and opportunities. I began my career in law enforcement at the Torrance Police Department, and I have grown to where I am now, which is managing Homeland Security for the largest port complex in the nation and number 4 in the world. I'm proud to share that my candidacy has received endorsements from critical members of the community, the Torrance Police Officers Association, the Torrance Police Commanders Association, and the Torrance Firefighters Association. I believe that these shared endorsements reflect a commitment that we all have to public safety and the well-being of our residents. My vision for our city is all as it always has been, which is for unity, progress, and safety. I'm dedicated to working collaboratively with all community members and all people who even work and may not live here in Torrance because they want a better community as well. I want to make sure that you know I strive now and will continue to address the issues that matter most to you. Together, we can build a stronger, safer, and more prosperous future for Torrance. Thank you for allowing me to be your advocate on City Council, a job that I hope to continue.
Thank you, Councilmember Lewis. Also in District 2, Andrew Lee. Mr. Andrew Lee, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to the League of Women Voters, Gloria, Pat, Deborah, Sharon, and all the board members who put this wonderful event together. So thank you so much. Traditionally, candidates thank their family members at the end, but I want to thank my wife, 20 plus years, who's sitting in the audience. She's my biggest cheerleader. Samantha is kind-hearted, caring person who brings me peace at home. So thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce my wife, Samantha. She's a nurse as well, so Samantha. A little bit about me. Samantha and I have 2 kids in college. We thought we'd actually have a house being an empty nester. Well, that's far from the truth. because my daughter, who attends UC Irvine, she comes home, does the laundry, goes grocery shopping at our refrigerator and our pantry, and then she goes back to her apartment. So hopefully some of that could be relatable to you all. My family ties go very deep in Torrance, 40 plus years. I'm an educator, healthcare director at Torrance Memorial. But more importantly, I'm a husband and a father and a son. I have a doctorate degree and 2 master's degrees as well. Throughout my career, I've been a proven leader that brings solution and actions. My leadership method is a servant leadership style, someone who is active listening, empathetic, and also collaborating, empowering, and building communities. Throughout my campaign, I had a wonderful opportunity to meet many of you at your door. I'm fortunate to hear your stories, but so many of you have shared that you don't have a voice, and that's why I'm running. Also, I've heard many things that are plaguing our community today, which is public safety, homelessness, and community development. I'm running because I want to give you a voice. I see you, I hear you, and I stand with you. So let's work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew Lee. We have 2 candidates in District 4. First, we'll hear from Councilmember Sharon Kalani. Maybe. We'll start the timer when the mic starts working. Why don't you use Andrew Lee's? Here we go. We're going to get it fixed. Thank you again to the city.
Thank you. There we go. She has the magic touch. Good evening, and thank you to the League of Women Voters, but also thank you to each and every one of you for attending tonight. Elections are important, and they shape the future of our city. For over 4 decades, Torrance has been my cherished home. As your current council member, I have dedicated myself to the growth and the well-being of our beloved city. My journey includes serving as mayor pro tem and leading pivotal committees, earning recognition of excellence in government from the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce, a testament to my proven leadership skills. As a responsible and dependable leader, I actively contribute to the compassionate care of our vulnerable citizens. I foster partnerships with neighboring cities, champion safety and cleanliness, and meticulously monitor the city's financial performance indicators. My role on the Torrance South Bay YMCA since 1996 has deepened my understanding of our social services needs, especially during the challenging times when I had the privilege of serving hundreds of families who lost loved ones during the pandemic. These experiences have further and deepened my appreciation for our remarkable community. My commitment to Torrance runs deep. I'm not just your council member, I'm also a devoted wife, parent, and grandmother who actively advocates for youth. I invest my time in mentoring the leaders of tomorrow, and I nurture the potential in each and every one of them. Through my tenure as council member, I have navigated local, state, and global challenges, earning a reputation of a voice of reason. My approach is rooted in responsible, research-based decision-making. I look forward to answering your questions tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Kalani. Next up, District 4, Mr. Kusha Modanlu.
Good evening, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here tonight. My name is Kusha Modanlu, and I want to begin by thanking the League of Women Voters and President Gloria for setting up this wonderful event. I also dearly cherish Torrance, and I was born in 1998 in the Torrance Memorial Hospital and attended Howard Wood Elementary School, J.H. Hull Middle School, Torrance High School, and UC Berkeley. I was the salutatorian of Torrance High School in 2016, and I was inducted into the Hall of Fame for UC Berkeley's Haas School of Business in 2020, where I've taught accounting classes since January 2020, which was my senior year, in financial reporting, intermediate financial accounting, auditing, and federal income tax accounting. There are many important issues that impact people in Torrance very seriously. Homelessness is one of the growing matters that needs to be attended to. And we need to have more of an investment in development in Torrance, such that people are not being priced out of the market. As we see throughout the country, we have about half the population spending roughly half of their income on rent and utilities. Furthermore, we need to be able to have more robust investment in green energy. The refinery in Torrance is very problematic in that when I was a junior in Torrance High School in 2015, it exploded and nearly caused mass casualties and many deaths because there was a hydrofluoric acid tank that almost turned into an aerosol cloud, which would have been very catastrophic. Moreover, I believe that in Torrance, we need to be able to provide the youth here with more support in the sense of bringing in students from the local universities of Greater Los Angeles County to be mentors for them, like I was as a UC Berkeley student for the middle schoolers in Willard Middle School and Longfellow Middle School. I want to see these improvements happen in Torrance, and a lot of it has to happen through a very serious concerted effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Madonlu. We're going to hear next from 3 candidates in District 6. First, Mr. Jack Walser. Jack, 2 minutes.
Good evening.
There we go.
I am Jack Walser and running for City Council District 6. I've lived in Torrance most of my adult life, raised 2 children here, have owned and operated a business in Torrance called Walser's, which is known for art supplies, graphic products, and services. I was appointed to the City Council in 2021 to fill an unexpected vacancy and served a full 1-year term. I worked effectively with other council members, city employees, citizens, and other government officials. Most importantly, this means that I will not require time to learn the job upon election. I will be up and running on day 1. The current District 6 council member, Mike Griffiths, will be terming out, and he strongly endorses me to carry on his work for the city. Because of my longtime business and city experiences, I've also received endorsement from BizFed. Because council positions are critical, I believe that experience counts. In addition to having already served as your council member, I have served and chaired the Water Commission, been active in the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce, selected as Ambassador of the Year in 2017, and served on the advisory board of the Torrance Salvation Army since 2015. I care deeply for our community. I know from experience that it takes constant work to maintain our city's quality of life. We need to focus our energies on what makes sense for Torrance and to strive to protect our local control where possible. We have gold standard police and fire departments. However, there are issues because criminals keep being released right away. This impacts our community, which has come to depend on our police, which we need to support and encourage. Regarding the Torrance Airport, I completely support the recent council decision to table resolutions concerning closure of the airport. My focus is on local empowerment, doing what is best for our citizens and businesses. Thank you, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you, Jack. Also running for the District 6 seat, School Board Member Dr. Jeremy Gerson. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. I am Dr. Jeremy Gerson. I'd like to start by thanking the League of Women Voters for having this forum and allowing us the opportunity to speak to everyone watching tonight. I want to thank you all for being here, and those of you who are watching. Politics, especially at the local level, is so important, and it is great to see so much involvement and care for our city. I also want to thank my wife for being here. We have a little joke. In some venues, I get to call her the other Dr. Gerson, and in other venues, she gets to call me the other Dr. Gerson. So it's kind of an inside joke if you hear the laughing. My wife and I live in our Torrance dream home, in our beautiful suburban Torrance way of life. And we are raising 2 beautiful children who attend Torrance Unified Schools, living in the neighborhood that I grew up in, where my father lives just a few blocks away in my childhood house. I grew up in Torrance, and I grew up in what is now District 6. It is, 1 minute. It is, I'm a Torrance High School graduate, and I was a Torrance teacher for over 15 years before I took the lead and gave up my permanent contract to become a Torrance School Board member to serve you. And we have done such amazing, amazing things that I hope I'll get to share some of that this evening with you. I'm in my 2nd term, which is 6 years of public service, and it is hard work. There is a lot of behind-the-scenes work, and I don't want people to think that school board should be a training ground for future elected officials in other offices, but there is so much that happens through the training that we go through. I went through the Masters in Governance program with the California School Boards Association, and so thank you.
And our final opening statements, also running in District 6, Tony Ye.
Good evening, everybody. Good to see some familiar faces and some new faces. My name is Tony Ye. I have lived in Torrance for over 33 years. I have 2 kids. One is a 3rd grade in Hickory, and one is a 6th grade in Madrona. I'm running because I want to do it for my kids for the future. I've been here 33 years. I want to be here another 33 or 40 years. I love Torrance. Since 2013, I started getting involved in community volunteers. 2013, I became a 3rd member. Not only that, I also taught ballroom dancing at YMCA. And now I'm currently a planning commissioner holding a vice chair position for the past 2 years. And before that, I was in library commission. So I care about Torrance very, very much, as you can see. I've been dedicating my life to it. And there are 3 issues that concerns me. I think I want to help everybody because once I'm elected, I'm working for all of you in my district. First is the public safety. Without public safety, everything else is not real. If you're worried about your kids going to the school on the way coming back or just walking down the street, without our police and fire, nothing can achieve. I also thank them for teaching me how to be a CERT member. I was a neighborhood captain. Second, a government needs money. I want to be pro-business, bring jobs and opportunities to Torrance. That we have revenues for the city of Torrance. And last, I want to slow down and stop overdevelopment in Torrance. As a planning commissioner, we know California mandates 5,000 houses in the city of Torrance, and it is up to local control to give rules and regulations. Thank you again for coming tonight. I'm looking forward to answer your questions.
All right, thanks everyone for the opening statements. Quick reminder, audience, now is the time that you can actually ask questions. We'll do applause at the very end, but for now, there are questions over here. Look at Carrie, look at Deepti. We're looking for more questions. We're going to mix this up. Questions can be answered by only 60 seconds, and we're going to vary the questions based on the districts. Again, the order we drew ahead of time. So, Andrew Lee, first question to you. You will answer this, followed by Councilmember Lewis. 60 seconds. Share your thoughts, please, on the Sea Line Extension project. And Andrew Lee, we'll start with you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Sea Line Extension. I actually spoke at the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce, and I am wholeheartedly supportive of the extension. However, there are advocates of individual, I would say, impact if we were to just address the root cause. Sea Line Extension of many end of the line are dealing with many of the the end of the line clearing every night at 1 a.m. And when we have people that are released after and cleared into trains, we are seeing the impact in cities. So Long Beach, Santa Monica, you have seen the devastation of many of those communities because the infrastructure needs to be set up. I would advocate for setting up the infrastructure, bringing the support that's needed, and then we can actually have that extension here. Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Lewis, same question. Your thoughts on the Sea Line Extension project? 60 seconds.
Thank you. So the Sea Line is a very complex issue, and it's not a decision that anyone on the Torrance City Council gets to make. It is a Board of Directors decision from Metro. So what we can do on our end is forward our preference for an alignment, and it's down to 2 alignments right now, which is the right-of-way and straight down Hawthorne Boulevard. When it comes to alignment, I'm strongly opposed to Hawthorne Boulevard because of what it would do to our community here in Torrance. As far as the safety is concerned, I think we have an incredible police department here, on our police department to give us solutions on how we would handle the end-of-line policy if it impacts Torrance the way it's done in other communities. I also am part of the conversation about Metro forming their own police department and what that would look like for our community. So I think we need to take those tasks as we come along. I know if anyone can do it, we can here in Torrance. Thank you.
All right, next we're going to go to District 4 candidates, and we'll start with you, Mr. Badanu. Question is, some members of the City Council want to contract with the LA County Sheriffs and dissolve the Torrance Police Department. Your thoughts and feelings on this?
Well, I think this is a very important question. On the one hand, I consider that the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department has had rampant corruption and numerous gangs that are a big part of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. So just bringing them on without having a good sense of who's who is very problematic. On the other hand, I consider that the Torrance Police Department eats, I think, about $87 million of the Torrance budget as of the prior financial reporting period. And I think it's important to have public safety with certainty. But at the same time, there's a lot of waste that goes in this section of our budget. And if it's not serving a purpose, if there's money going towards inventory that's not necessary for the policing, then this can be adjusted. So I think, to your question, we have to be very judicious about who we're working with and have a very qualified analysis of the personnel. Thank you.
Councilmember Kalani, same question. Contracting with the LA County Sheriffs and dissolving the Torrance Police Department. Your thoughts and feelings on this?
I do not support the idea of contracting with LA County Sheriff. I believe that our police department is one of the best and brightest. Do they continue to work to be better? Absolutely. We have a wonderful force right now. A perfect example of that. A lot of people might think that something very bad happened at Del Amo recently, but actually the police department was ahead of that. Their intel was ahead of it. They had completely been prepared for that, and they avoided any damage to the mall or to the businesses within the mall. So we have the best and brightest. We need to be supportive of them. We need to give them the equipment that they need to continue to provide the service and safety to the community that they always have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. For our 3 candidates in District 6, we're going to start with you, Board Member Dr. Gerson. Do you believe Torrance is doing an adequate job to address homelessness? And what more can the city do? We'll start with you, then we'll go to Tony Ye, and then Jack.
The important thing is homelessness is an issue, but it's such a multifaceted issue that it is not something that a city council can handle by itself. As an experienced elected official, I know that we have to manage this for the sake of the people of Torrance, and we need to do what we can, but at the same time, we don't want to bankrupt our city. So it's important that we work with our state and federal legislators to help us, and our county supervisor to help us, because it's a big problem, and we need to do a better job of working together with the others that have access to more programs, larger budgets. So yes, I support things that Torrance can do that we've proven can be effective, but I do not want to also bankrupt the city. So yes, thank you.
Tony Ye, you're next. 1 minute.
I think Torrance is one of the few cities that have plans for the homelessness. We are not only built 40 small homes, but we also have dedicated funding towards the homeless. There are $1 million from SST that's directly to the homeless. However, the temporary housing is only temporary. We need to find the root of the problem. We need to find them, we need to get them off the street. We need to get them help. Alcohol abuse, drugs abuse, we need to get help to cure the root of the problem. We have outreach program, and thanks to the current council and who are working with, I think Torrance is doing great, and I want to ensure Torrance continue doing great job to help the homeless problem with the county and with the state and with the federal. Thank you.
Jack, same question. Do you believe Torrance is doing an adequate job to address homelessness? What more can the city do?
I would believe they're doing an adequate job within the tools they have. Part of the problem is it's dictated by the state as to what we have to do. We've been very fortunate that there's been funding that's been provided to cover us for the first couple of years and the construction, but it remains to be seen what's going to happen in the future. I particularly believe that we need to concentrate on rehabilitation. We don't want to have people in temporary housing that really become permanent housing. So we need to institute programs to help the people to rehabilitate and move on. As far as funding, that's going to be a challenge for the city as well as all cities. The cost of real estate and expenses here make it very difficult to have quote-unquote affordable housing, but we need to work together with our state people as well to see that we can try and acquire funding to maintain the programs that they're dictating.
All right, let's go back to District 2, second round of questions. Councilmember Lewis, you'll start this time. Will you make commitments for increased safety for pedestrians, bikes, scooters, buses, even though it may result in a reduction of vehicle lanes or parking?
So a couple of ways I can answer that question. So let's concentrate on the most recent evolution of e-bikes. So I worked with the Torrance Police Department Traffic Division to come up with an e-bike education program that was recently debuted during a city council meeting, because we knew that after Black Friday and after Christmas, everybody was going to have an e-bike all over the place. And we wanted to be safety. We wanted to make sure that the users know the traffic laws and regulations for everyone, bikers, e-bikes, vehicles, buses. It's important that we empower the community and educate the community on the safety of all modes of transit throughout the city of Torrance. And I will champion and celebrate that.
Thank you. Andrew Lee, will you make the commitment for increased safety, pedestrians, bikes, scooters, buses, even though it may result in a reduction of vehicle lanes or parking?
I wholeheartedly believe in the safety of our pedestrians, bikes, and also for many of our transportation modes that we have. Recently, I actually had and led and organized the largest healthcare exploration day at my hospital. With partnership with Torrance Unified School District, I brought in over 180 young people into our campus to learn about healthcare, but also safety aspects as well. And this was one of the primary topics because of the fact that we did have accidents in other jurisdictions that really caused harm for our young people. So I will continue to do that. And we were featured on City Cable and also on Daily Breeze, but I want to make sure that we're committed for the young people here and also wanting to build a strong pipeline for our families and our community. Thank you.
All right, round 2 of questions to our District 4 candidates. Councilmember Kalani, do you think the Torrance Refinery use of MHF is safe, or do you plan to do something about it? 60 seconds.
Thank you, sir. So every single person in this room benefits from what the refinery does. They are a large employer for us. They are a revenue generator for our city. And the refinery associates that work there live in our cities. Their children go to our school. They feel safe. I spent an extended period of time on the community advisory panel at the refinery to educate myself on not only their processing, but also to understand their safety regulations. And I would invite all of you in the community, especially if you have concerns, to reach out to the refinery and go and visit. They're going to be happy to show you. They spend an incredible amount of resources to make sure that processor is enclosed with multiple layers of safety. And I support the refinery very much. Thank you.
Mr. Madonlu, same question. You think the Torrance Refinery use of MHF is safe? Do you plan to do anything about it?
Well, I would say I have a position that is in stark contrast to Councilmember Kalani's. I believe that the Torrance Refinery is one which is very dangerous, consistently. It's been, I remember speaking with my elementary school principal, Mr. Sidney Morrison, who's still a good friend of mine, and he used to be the principal at Magruder Middle School, and he told me stories about how children would be fainting from the emissions of the factory. One of my friends whose family lives in North Torrance, he would tell me that people would get free car cleaning services from all the emissions that come from the factory, from the refinery. At the same time, we have many people who are employees or contractors at the factory who have serious safety issues to the point where people are dying on the job site. This is something that's of major concern for me. And the fact that we don't have a push to change this refinery to be something more sustainable and more green and to move away from this hydrofluoric acid it's catastrophic.
We're going to go to District 6 next, and we're going to start with you, Tony Yade. Your question is, do you see any issues or concerns with the city's pension obligation?
Thank you.
60 seconds.
Yes, we do have a pension issue, $350 million, and that's the current one. And I was at a council meeting. Only 2 councils are willing to address the problem because that's such a big issue. We do have a problem right now, and we have to address it. We have to find a ways to fulfill the pension obligation, not just by keep running and saying, other cities have the same problem, so we should be fine too. As a council member, I'll find ways to make that whole, smaller and smaller. We need to pay our pension and get that rid of the pension obligation. I know it will not be right away, but it's definitely one of my to-do lists when I become a council. Thank you.
Jack, you're next. Same question, any issues or concerns with the city's pension obligation? Sure.
Well, there's no question there's a legal obligation that is there, but the city has taken a lot of steps to try and mitigate that, especially with respect to new employees. They don't have all the financial obligations to the city that they had in the past. I don't think there's a way to get out of the legal requirements we have, but as time goes on, that will tend to reduce. And I think that the city's seriously taken the steps they need to try and reduce the effect on the budget. But it is a real situation that you can't just avoid right now. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Board Member Gerson.
Yes, pensions are an issue not just for cities, but also for school districts. We've spent a lot of time and work trying to figure out how we can help with STRS and PERS on the school district side, even, going to Sacramento and lobbying them for assistance, which we have been very successful on. I also spent 2 terms on the California School Board Association Delegate Assembly, so I've spent a lot of time learning how to lobby and lobbying in Sacramento. And so I would hope to bring some of the solutions that we have been able to find on the school district over to the city side to also help figure out some more ways to alleviate the pension obligations. Thank you.
All right. Back to District 2. And I think we're on question 3. So Andrew Lee, you'll start this one. Do you support or oppose the state Senate Bill 9? And what will you do to protect single-family home neighborhoods? 60 seconds. Andrew Lee, you'll start.
Thank you for that question. This is actually near and dear to my heart because of the fact that as I have canvassed and visited over 4,000 homes, this was coming up very frequently. And we are a single family community here. Having the imposement without infrastructure or support or finances coming from the city doesn't allow us to do anything better for our community except having more traffic, more density, and more impact. So I am completely opposed of not only SB 9, but also SB 10, which is also a very convoluted bill, but you can also see the impact that it will have on our communities. Thank you.
Councilmember Lewis, support or oppose Senate Bill 9. What will you do to protect single-family home neighborhoods?
As stated before, Senate Bill 9 is a very consequential bill. And when you compare it to our mandate from the state, the unfunded mandate from the state, to supply over 4,900 units of housing within the city of Torrance, we'll have to figure out where to put all of those houses. And single-family homes is what Torrance was based on. It's what it's built on. It's what we would like to move forward on there. I am opposed to Senate Bill 9 of subdividing lots. However, I do understand people have granny flats, if you will, or casitas in the back, or even ADUs. As much as we possibly can with the housing corridor study that we did, particularly in District 2, the ability to be able to sustain a single-family home would be the preference, but I am flexible to know that we do have a mandated legal obligation to meet to determine our housing.
All right. In District 4, we're going to start with you, Mr. Madonlu. Question, again, similar to on housing. Can you share your ideas on where Torrance can build to meet the state's housing requirement? 60 seconds.
Thanks for that question. It's a difficult one. Actually, it was one I was chatting with one of my friends during this morning. I think that when we develop new housing in Torrance, I think it's 5,000 that has to be developed by 2029, there needs to be a focus not just on luxury complexes, because in doing so, it does not make housing more affordable for anyone. In fact, it will only worsen this crisis. If the housing supply is supposed to increase, it needs to be on the more reasonable end. At the same time, the location of the housing is very important. One could try to build higher rising buildings. That'll bring, of course, pushback from people who enjoy the view that we have. But in terms of building upwards in a city like Torrance, that's one method that we can go with, and one that comes to mind at the forefront, I would say.
Councilmember Kalani, same question.
Yeah, thank you so much. So the RENA numbers, the Regional Housing Needs Assessment numbers of 4,939 units that need to be developed in Torrance is a daunting one. To comply with the requirements of building or getting to that number, the city of Torrance identified areas where that kind of growth would be most suitable to protect and keep the single-family resident type community that Torrance is most known for and loved for. It's important to understand these are state laws that we must comply with, and by identifying these housing corridors, we are doing that. And just a reminder that once again, is a state requirement, and it's not staff or the council that is making us look at these housing corridors. The housing requirements do include low, very low, below moderate, above moderate requirements. So those would be addressed as we continue to look for the right places to build those. Thank you.
Moving to our candidates in District 6, we're going to start with you, Jack. Question has been asked, every candidate has been asked to answer this one, so this one will circle back. Would you support, Jack, a Torrance City Council proclamation for Gay Pride Month this June? Why or why not?
I would, because I don't think we need to be less inclusive. I think we need to recognize everyone, their rights to express themselves. As far as financing it, that might be something that one would have to see where funds are available, but I think we should recognize all of our citizens.
Board Member Gerson, 60 seconds.
That's easy. We need an inclusive city, a safe city where everyone feels that this is their home. And the school board, while we don't do proclamations, we have a different system, but we do recognize June. And I would expect the city council to also do the same and have a proclamation recognizing Pride Month and recognizing Torrance as a safe place for all.
Tony Ye?
Thank you. First, we need to understand proclamation. It is mayor's right to do the proclamation. As a council, we have no rights of doing it. But I support everybody. It doesn't matter, purple, green, whatever you are, I support you. But I will respect mayor's decision. Thank you.
Councilmember Lewis, same question. Would you support a Torrance City Council proclamation for Pride Month this June? Why or why not?
Yes, I would. When I raised my hand and took an oath of office to serve in the city of Torrance, I took that oath to serve everyone. We are a very diverse community. Look at our city council. It's the most diverse it's ever been, and that's something to be celebrated. And I champion inclusiveness in our community, because if the way I look at it is if something bad happens in Torrance, we're all going to band together as a community to get through it. And acknowledging all of the cultural, all of the heritage months, which we have the opportunity to do here in Torrance because of our diversity, should be celebrated. The process is someone fills out an application for a proclamation. It's reviewed by the mayor's office, and it's decided whether it gets on the agenda or not. That is the way that the council rules of order are written. It's at no cost to the taxpayers, just to be able to read the proclamation, and anyone can participate and actually fill out that application as well. I see Sue looking at me, so I'll stop. But that is my position on proclamations.
Andrew Lee, same question, 60 seconds.
I believe that people should be respected from many backgrounds and culture. At my hospital, we do recognize Pride Month, and I think that's important, as each organization, jurisdiction, or any organization. However, I do also believe that each city has the opportunity to acknowledge particular months based on how the city actually comes together. It's very, very easy to separate each other, but the hard work is to bring people together. So I would advocate for bringing people together. Thank you.
Councilmember Kalani, same question, 60 seconds.
Okay, there we go. Absolutely, I would support a LGBTQIA+ proclamation. I always have. I believe that the city of Torrance is one that's inclusive. Members of this community live here, work here, contribute to our community. They come into our city during the day and they work, and they should be welcomed. They should feel safe, and they should feel included. So I want to celebrate Gay Pride Month in June. Thank you.
All right, back to our candidates with District 6. This is throwback. We're going to start with you, School Board Member Gerson. Oh, sorry. Ronaldo. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, it's no problem.
I'm getting too fast.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.
Should I go now, or?
Yes, please. 60
Okay.
seconds. Same
Okay.
question. Sorry about that. My bad.
Okay. All right. Well, in my opinion, passing such a proclamation would be a strong testament to the serious shift that we've had in public attitude, going back to the Stonewall protests and in the 80s during the Reagan administration, where HIV was seen as that gay disease and you didn't want to be near anyone who was gay. I think that people should be able to have the right to determine who their romantic partners are as consenting adults, and such a proclamation by the city would be a furtherance of support to a community that has had historical difficulties in terms of stigma. And so I believe, as a city, to be able to extend that type of welcoming hand, as was done to many Japanese Americans during the period of World War II, as one should want for a city to extend to people of all backgrounds and cultures and nationalities, is a great step forward.
Sorry again. Thank you for that.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right, District 6 candidates, we're going to start with you, School Board Member Gerson. Question is, share with us, please, something you feel should be accomplished at the city level, but has not yet been addressed by the City Council. 60 seconds. We'll start with you, then go to Tony, and then Jack.
Pick one thing. As school board president, I had the opportunity to write a document that became a strategic collaboration agreement between the city and the school district. After years of conflict between the two entities, we're now finding some synergies. However, I don't think that the city and the school district are yet humming, and I don't think that the city council and the school board are yet humming. And so something that I would love to see us do is to really come together and take advantage of both public agencies to truly support the people of Torrance, because they both have such resources and such reach. But if they worked better together, that would be better for everyone in the city of Torrance.
60 seconds. Tony?
Thank you. This one I want to actually thank current council and mayors from the last council meeting. The schools, there's an issue, is our airport issues. We decided, the residents and the flying school and the airport is going to sit down together. There was rumor that we're going to take airport away, but airport has been a history of Torrance. Zemperfini Field has been there, and just because we had noise, that nobody was willing to come to the table together. But I think our council is doing a great job. They're addressing, they are doing the researches. I think this is what I want to do when I become a council member. I will continue to work with the people. I think that's the best solution ever. You know, have everybody who is a stakeholder and come and resolve the issues peacefully. That everybody's a winner. Thank you.
Jack, same question.
Okay. There's a number of things that the city can work on that haven't been brought up, and I've just mentioned one very small one that I even started, not with the council. But I think we have, in the beautification desires for Torrance, we have what are called control valves that are throughout the city, on city property as well as business properties. And you've seen them all. They're typically a bypass type valve, overflow valve, whatever, but they're large. And some are two issues basically. They aren't maintained well, so a lot of them just need to be painted or shrubbery around them to protect them. And I think we should address it from the standpoint of where we place these. I think a little more attention needs to be given. A perfect example is Torrance Memorial Hospital has a great new big facility, and what's smack right in the middle where all their signs? This big ugly control valve. Again, it's a minor thing, but I think it's something that we need to enact within the city for beautification.
Okay, we're going to go to District 2 candidates. Andrew Lee, you're going to start with this one. What are you going to do to address and improve youth civic engagement in Torrance? You have 60 seconds.
So youth civic engagement is key. Like I mentioned, we have a strong partnership with Torrance Unified School District, not only to create that bond of not only creating our opportunities for young people to choose healthcare or STEM fields into the future, because we need to actually keep our talent within. We can't have our young people go out into other communities and then get jobs. We need to be able to create them here. So I would actually build a coalition of within not only healthcare but other industries to build that pipeline, to build that experience, and building the mentorship so we can actually have a community of young people that will be the future of our communities. Thank you.
Councilmember Lewis?
Thank you. In Torrance, we are so fortunate enough to have a youth council. And on the youth council, there are the leaders of our future that come from every school in the Torrance Unified School District. And if you've attended any of their meetings, which I suggest you do, just to sit in the room and get the inspiration from these visionaries that we have in our own community is just tremendous. For instance, did you know that 2 West High School students, go West High, actually designed 2 years of the award-winning floats that were featured in the Rose Bowl parade? That's the type of ingenuity that we need to continue and spread. I always tell the youth council when I visited them in their meetings that empowered youth empowers other youth. And in that same sense, you have a lot of youth that want to give back to the community, and I think using the resources we have currently in place is the way to continue to do that.
All right, we're going to go back to this one for District 4. We'll start with you, Mr. Madonlo. Any issues with the city's pension obligation in your mind?
I think that's another very crucial question. With respect to pensions, I think in looking at the country as a whole, you have a major shift that's been taking place from big employers wanting to put more and more of the burden on the individuals who are employees to be able to cover their own retirement. And we have people working until their late 70s to try to be able to sustain themselves and then rely on just oftentimes Social Security. Now, in terms of the pension obligations, as we've heard earlier, those that are already allotted must be paid out. But at the same time, I don't think it's fair to just see this new generation of individuals who want to go into city employment, for example, and tell them altogether they have to put aside their hopes of a safe retirement if they work 20, 30, 40 years, whatever it is, for a city. I believe that we want to make sure we have funding from the federal government, especially when they're funding all these wars in Ukraine and in the Middle East and Gaza, to be able to help cities like ours for people to retire safely and soundly.
Councilmember Kalani, 60 seconds.
Yeah, thank you very much. The pension and unfunded liabilities is a challenge, yes. The city's looking at ways to correct that, to lower that commitment, and we have to keep the promises that were kept. A lot of people devoted their life to the city, and they deserved their pension that they thought that they were going to receive. We need to find responsible and sustainable ways to pay that down, and we need to use any and all additional funds to make an effort to do so. Thank you.
All right, District 6, we got a question specific to your district. We're going to start with you, Tony, on this one. At a recent council meeting, a suggestion was made to allocate money to upgrade and make improvements at the Torrance Airport. Do you support this? And what improvements do you think need to be made?
Thank you. Like I said, I think the airport has been there for many, many years. And improve the airport, we need to know where the funding is coming from, right? Like we already know we have a heavy liability from the pension. So to improve the airport, the most important thing I would be thinking is the public safety. We don't want airplane to fall from the sky to cause damage or to our residents. So if we upgrade anything, I'll focus on the safety issue. Thank you.
Jack, same question, 60 seconds about the airport improvements.
Well, besides needing a balance between the operation of the airport relative to those that use it and the residents and businesses, I feel that it's an asset that we really need to focus on. A lot of the airport has been left to be old, needs to be updated, modernized. I can see the airport becoming more of an attraction. I can see the addition of things like restaurants, things of that sort could be of interest to people. It needs to be remodeled. Okay.
School Board Member Gerson, 60 seconds.
The Torrance Airport is a beautiful opportunity. It could be our lifeline during a natural disaster, a staging area. It has such potential to save our residents should we face something severe. I think about opportunities, not just of fixing facilities, but what a great opportunity for solar. To bring in more energy and cut costs for our city. I also think that we need a noise sensor evaluation and to look at the concerns that as we upgrade the airport and would make it more usable, but we also need to make sure that we manage that with the concerns of our residents and look at how are we enforcing the rules that we do have in place and make sure that we're balancing those needs and taking good care of our residents, because that is why we're elected. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, District 2, we're going to start with you again, Councilmember Lewis. Question is, what's the most important issue unique to your district, District 2, and how do you plan to address it? 60 seconds.
So we have a couple of unique issues in District 2. The one that I would bring up first would be the planned Beach Cities Health District Healthy Living Campus plans. I'm a champion of the work that BCHD does, not so much of the Healthy Living Campus that was planned much without input from the Torrance residents, which would be mostly impacted from that development and the growth in that area. I am not a champion of overdevelopment at all. I do everything that I can to research it as much as I can, and that is one of the things that I've done on my 18 months of council was to advocate for that community, the area that is surrounding BCHD. And we will continue to do so to ensure that our Torrance residents are being heard in that project.
Andrew Lee, same question. District 2, the most important issue, and how are you going to address it?
Safety, safety, safety. Public safety is the number one thing in my district. Thefts, burglary, looting, 40% increase in my district year over year. Other crimes of violence is actually down, but we've seen that, and that's the data also tells us as well. Last week, I conducted a ride-along, and within that ride-along time, I've actually witnessed people stealing cars, violent disturbance in our community, and the list goes on and on. Right now, our police department is spending over 70% dealing with homeless issues, and they need to do their job so we can actually have other aspects that are taken care of. We need to protect our families. We're 40 officers down. Our law enforcement is spread so thin right now, and that our police are needing to call other jurisdictions as well. So thank you.
Councilmember Kalani, same question. Tell us about District 4, the most important issue unique to District 4, and how do you plan to address it? 60 seconds.
Thank you. We have had a challenge in District 4 with neighboring cities. For example, on Western Avenue, within one block, we had 12 motor homes. It was considered a motorhome encampment. So what do you do about that? It's literally just outside the city of Torrance. We have no jurisdiction over it. But that's where you enter the city of Torrance. But again, these people need to be taken care of in a compassionate way. I have developed a relationship with Councilmember McOsker in the 1-5, as they call it, in the city of Los Angeles. We are down to 3 motorhomes there now. So that is a problem solved. We have additional things that we're looking at. We're going to be redeveloping Cabrillo Avenue, putting in 121 trees, looking at making downtown Torrance a even better area to visit. And we finished Sepulveda Avenue. Got to stop. Thank you.
Mr. Bonanno, same question. District 4, most important issue and how you're going to address it.
Well, I would say that the most important issue that we face in Torrance is the rising cost of living, which is one that people face throughout the country and the world. I believe that we have an economic crisis in which people in Torrance are not able to afford, for example, food the same way they were even just 2 or 3 years ago. Though we see the inflation rate has come down to about 3.5% or so, it doesn't seem like we've seen a decrease to prices that we had prior to COVID. Many businesses, for example, in Old Torrance, had a serious squeeze when it came to being able to afford sustaining themselves when they couldn't have the same customer base. We need to be able to have a revitalization of Torrance in District 4 and otherwise, building on the legacy of Franklin Delano Roosevelt and the New Deal, which is what brought us the Torrance Airport that we heard about earlier. We need to be able to have a revitalization of a refinery in Torrance, such that we have a push towards solar panels, such that we have a more development of batteries, such that we can move away from relying on fossil fuels.
Jack, District 6, what's the top issue in District 6 and how are you going to address it?
Mainly because they're located in District 6. I think 2 of the big areas is the airport, but it affects all the residents. And the other is what's happened with housing, ADUs, things of that sort. We've got the hillside overlay that is drastically affected by what the state has done. That's a tough one because we're bound by what the state has taken away from us as far as local control for housing. But the airport needs a balance, like as I'd mentioned before. And it's not just a District 6 problem, but it is affected by the people that are living in this district. Thank you.
Thank you. School Board Member Gerson, same question, District 6.
If you ask the residents in my neighborhood, they'll talk about the airport, but as I've already addressed that, I'll go to the next one, which I think is public safety. You know, with what happens at the mall, as great as TPD was, you know, that pushes toward our neighborhood, and they start coming, you know, we had a bunch of people coming through our neighborhood. And so I want to address the TPT question because Torrance Police Department is so incredibly important, and I really want to help rebuild what they, you know, the positive part of what they once were. A lot of people do not know the relationship between TPD and TUSD. We have cutting edge plans and work that we've done together that keep our children safe. All of us as parents are afraid of active shooters, and the response that we've worked on, the Torrance Police Department working on our campuses. One of the things that people may not know is when there was a house theft and a person jumped into one of our schools, that the TPD could immediately look on our cameras and follow them and go right to that spot and without having to search the whole school. So this partnership is so incredibly important. Thank you.
All right, Tony?
Thank you. I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest issues is our airport noise. I live under the flight path. We had 6 schools. Torrance only allowed 6 fly school, and now we have 10. So we have been correcting the problem back to 6, but that's a work in progress. As I walk over 4,500 homes, talk to the residents. It really depends on where you are. Airport noise is one of the issues, and also theft is a big issue as well. Public safety is always our #1 concern. We want to be able to walk during the daytime, during the nighttime, anywhere. And also, we want safety from our airport. We don't want plane to come down and crash, to cost lives of our residents. Therefore, I think public safety is our biggest issue, and also the noise. Thank you so much.
All right, this is our final question. It's going to be a lightning round, 30 seconds. We're going to start with you, Andrew Lee. Torrance's homeless count is 398, but there's only 40 pallet tiny homes. 30 seconds, lightning round. Do you support adding more interim housing in Torrance? 30 seconds, Andrew Lee.
The city of Los Angeles spent over $609 million. Measure H started us and kicked us off in doing the job. We need more funds and support from not only the county, but the state as well. This is not something that we can handle alone. I just participated at the homeless count. We are going to see an increase coming in June when we're going to actually see the final number. So I would ask the county and the state for support in this, because I think that's what we need to do to come together.
Councilmember Lewis, same question. Lightning round, 30 seconds. You support adding more interim housing?
I do. So we've had a lot of success out of the 40 units that we currently have in the city of Torrance. We want to make sure that we're balancing where those are located. What we have to do is educate the community and get out of the scare tactic of it's going to bring this or that, the other. We've partnered with Harbor Interfaith Services, who has been a wonderful partner for us. And we are going to have to address that. And we may not always be able to depend on the county or the state. So I think Torrance is brilliant enough and smart enough and has enough people here that will help us guide to better solutions and more solutions to housing our homeless.
Mr. Badonlo, lightning round, 30 seconds. You support more interim housing, adding more interim housing?
Yes, absolutely. I believe housing must be seen as a human right. And furthermore, I think it's a great tragedy that we have all this money for war, $46 billion for the military establishment in Ukraine, and tens of billions going towards Israel every year, and all these countries in the Middle East having been devastated. But a city like us in Torrance is not able to take care of its homeless population and thereby cause more safety damage, issues for everyone else. It's very sad, and we should be able to take care of these people and be able to help provide them the opportunity to get good jobs later.
Councilmember Kalani, you support adding more interim housing? 30 seconds, lightning round.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to give a shout out quickly to the city of Torrance because we have an amazing homeless team. But not only do we need to provide more housing, we need to provide a way to continue to transition these people back into a quality of life. And our team's doing a great job working at that. So I think it's more than just housing. It's the commitment to help these people with wraparound services. I keep watching for that red sign. Thank you.
School Board Member Gerson, 30 seconds, lightning round. You support more interim housing, adding more?
As I said, I support programs that work, and this has been proven to work. And I know that we have local cities that have also increased the amount of pallet housing. And so, yes, this seems like something that is very beneficial, so it would get my support.
Tony, same question, 30 seconds.
I support if we have budget for it. We need to address our budget issues. And homelessness is not just temporary housing. Like I mentioned earlier, we need to start from the root. We need to get them off the street, get them help. Housing is only temporary. Thank you.
Jack, lightning round. Interim housing?
Well, great. Three minutes have gone ahead of me, so we pretty well covered it. But no, I do support it. It's mandated anyway. But I do feel we need to concentrate, as I mentioned before, more on rehabilitation. We have a minor turnover, in my mind, of the interim housing small homes that we have right now. We need to get people rehabilitated so they can move on quicker. and hopefully we can work on the economics to be funded by outside sources. But I think we can partner with other agencies as well.
All right. Well done, everybody. Thank you, and terrific questions. Thanks to everybody who asked them. Please fill out the exit survey. There's a QR code we'll give you. We also actually have written pieces. You're so good at writing questions. Fill out our survey for us. So the closing statements are just like the opening, 2 minutes, but we're going to start down there on the far end with you, Tony, and come this way. 2 minutes, closing statements. We'll start with District 6, then District 4, then District 2. Thanks, everybody. We'll have some closing remarks after Councilmember Lewis speaks. But Tony, over to you, 2 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you for the forum tonight. I'm so grateful to be here. My name is Tony Ye. I'm running for City Council for District 6. I'm running because I care about Torrance. I have 2 kids. I want to do it for the future of my kids. As you hear all the debates going on this tonight, you know I've been very, very passionate about Torrance. I have walked over 4,500 homes into the neighborhood because I care. Because if I'm elected, I'll be working for the residents of Torrance. This is not King Tony, this is Servant Tony. As a planning commissioner, I know the city issues, and I'm learning about the city issues. I want to address it. I want to be able to work with our current council and mayor. They have done a fantastic job. I want to continue the effort to make Torrance a better place again. And my website is www.tony-ye.com, and I humbly ask for your vote on March 5th. Thank you so much.
All right, 2-minute closing statement. District 6, School Board Member Dr. Jeremy Gerson.
Thank you very much to the League of Women Voters for having us. You know, I love being told that things are impossible. So I was told that it was impossible to increase enrollment in the Torrance Unified School District. We haven't seen it since the 2012-13 school year. We're in a declining enrollment state, area, and yet, through the work that the school board has done, we increased. I was the first president since 2012-13 school year to be able to say that we increased almost 500 students. We have increased attendance, and that is adding to the top and bottom line of a $300 million budget. I've spent 6 years balancing a $300 million budget and helping manage a district of over 3,600 employees and almost 22,000 students. We were the second school district in the county, the most restrictive county, to open for in-person instruction during the peak of COVID-19 transmission, and had no transmission inside our schools. That came through a strong collaboration with 200 stakeholders in the community. I am a collaborative leader. I work together to find solutions to what seems impossible, and I'm excited to bring that to City Council. I want to thank, because we're right next door to the George Nakano Theater, thank you, George, for your endorsement. I greatly appreciate it, and the support of the school board, Betty Lou, James Hahn, Anil Muhammad, who have all endorsed me. I want to thank the League of Conservation Voters, who have also endorsed me, because they know my commitment to having a nice, cleaner, fresh, suburban Torrance. So I want to thank everyone who is here this evening for taking the time out of your busy evening to learn about us. My name is Jeremy Gerson. The website is jeremygerson.com, and I hope you will vote for me for Torrance City Council District 6. Thank you.
And our last candidate in District 6, Jack Walser, 2 minutes.
Thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this meeting and all of you for attending. I want to articulate my priorities, which are safety first. Let's give our police, fire personnel, and healthcare providers the support they deserve. Quality of life. We need to continue to support our city and businesses with common sense approaches to homeless reduction and rehabilitation, as well as achieve a balance of our airport operation. The airport is a valuable asset, and I work hard to maintain a balance between the needs of aviation, residents, and city prosperity. Local control. We have to strive to return more local control. What works in Sacramento is not necessarily appropriate for Torrance. Let's bring back real-time strategies that work well with our businesses and communities. Business development. We must continue to support existing businesses as well as develop strategic growth opportunities. Cultural enrichment programs. We need to enrich our cultural programs that reflect our great diversity and hometown atmosphere. I am the candidate in District 6 with real long-time business and city council experience. Operating a city is very much like a business with cost controls and functional operations. I thank you for your time this evening, and please visit my campaign website at jackwalsertorrance.com and see why Jack is back is my campaign slogan.
All right, let's move to District 4. Commissioner Madonlo, 2 minutes, closing statement.
All righty. Well, I want to thank everyone for providing their diligent time, attention, and consideration throughout this event. You've all made it a great pleasure for us, and I very much enjoyed being a part of this forum. I hope I was able to provide some thoughtful answers. I would like to say that increasing the homeownership in Torrance is an important priority because we want to be able to make housing such that people don't have to live on the streets, such that we have development, such that we have a place in which people have more of a stake in their community. I want to make Torrance more of an international city. That we have one sister city program, I believe, with Kashiwa, Japan, is very nice, but we should be able to have sister cities throughout Latin America, the Middle East, East Asia, Southeast Asia, throughout Africa as well, in Europe. We need to be able to have an international city to be able to bring in more businesses. And we also want to make sure that we are very mindful and supportive of the small businesses, which are a large part of Torrance's economic system. I think it'd be cruel to impose more taxes on working people in Torrance when there's already such a high cost of living in Torrance in general. In that in Los Angeles County, we've seen the median home price go from $570,000 to, I believe, $830,000 in a matter of 5 years, from 2019 to 2024. I want to make sure that the students in the Torrance Unified School District have a big brother, big sister type of program through mentorship, bringing in students from UCLA, USC, Caltech, and so on, to be able to provide them a sense of direction and guidance and support as they move through the next stages of their lives in what's a tightening job market as the result of artificial intelligence expanding as rapidly as it is. So I think Torrance has a lot of opportunity, and it's really important to seize the moment.
All right, closing statement, District 4, Councilmember Sharon Kalani.
Thank you, sir. Since I was elected in 2020, we managed through COVID, which was a world crisis that significantly affected Torrance. Today, our reserves are strong. We have compassionately moved over 65 people off the streets who did not have a home. Key financial performance indicators are moving in a positive direction. Major streets have been upgraded, like Sepulveda and the corner of PCH and Hawthorne. We started the successful and sustainable ambulance program. And as I said before, our police department recently intercepted and controlled the potential takeover of our mall, showing people that want to do those kind of things that they are not welcomed and their actions are not accepted in Torrance. But it's nice to say what I've done. What I value most is what people say I have done. I am honored that I have been endorsed by the Torrance Police Officers Association, the Torrance Police Commanders Association, and the Torrance Firefighters Association because of my commitment to public safety. BizFed PAC for my goals to retain and attract businesses. AFSCME 1117, those are the people that keep our city safe, clean, and maintained, along with council members, commissioners, leaders of our community, and we talked a little bit about me establishing relationships in our surrounding cities. I take this responsibility seriously. I humbly seek your support for re-election on March 5th of 2024 to continue to work tirelessly for the Torrance we all hold near and dear. For more information, you can visit my website at Sharon4 Torrance for District 4, SharonForTorrance.com. Together, let's forge an even brighter future for our city, Torrance. Thank you.
All right, 2-minute closing statements for our 2 candidates in District 2. Andrew Lee.
Thank you. Can I just say you did a wonderful job
Thank you.
moderating? So wonderful job. I also want to thank the League of Women Voters, Gloria, Pat, Deborah, all the board members. You put so much time into this, so thank you so much. Really appreciate all that you've done. We can't live in a society where car break-ins, looting, smash and grabs are normalized. That's not the Torrance that I know. Torrance has the best police department, not only in South Bay, but across the country. Unfortunately, they're not fully staffed right now. The impact is being felt directly, not only for our officers being burnt out, but it impacts our city budget, and also it impacts our public safety. We must fortify our police department ASAP. Many of you have voiced concerns when I actually met you at your door around public safety. And one person that really stood out to me was that, I'll call her Mary. Mary lives near West High. She has, for past 70 years, she has walked around Henrietta Street, Spencer Street, Victor Street after supper with her husband. Well, last year her husband passed away. Now she doesn't have that daily walks because she's afraid. She's hearing from her neighbors about the break-ins, the assaults, and the increased crime. My priorities are very, very clear. Accelerate our support and strengthen our police departments so that they could do their jobs. Address homelessness in a holistic way. At the hospital, we actually triage many of the homeless that come into our ED, making sure that we ask the questions. Do you need mental health? Do you need substance abuse help? Do you need housing, or are you food insecure? We actually triage those things, and we actually address it in a holistic way. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
All right, Councilmember Bridget Lewis, closing statements, 2 minutes.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us tonight. I guess you guys wouldn't accept me saying ditto to what everybody else said, right? So I am going to go off script a little bit from what I had prepared. I've sat here and listened to questions, very thoughtful questions and responses from all of the candidates. And one thing that I want to make very clear, I'm not going to give my age away, but I have almost 30 years of public safety experience. I've worked at police departments, I've worked at federal agencies, I have a sworn police department that we have at the port now that deals with local, state, and international jurisdictional issues. What I can say for sure is Torrance's crime rate was down 18% last year, and that is because of the experience of the Torrance Police Department and their training and their dedication to our community. Every police department in the country is down right now, and that is one of the critical things that we will focus on moving forward. I have a commitment from Torrance. I have a commitment because I'm passionate about our well-being and the prosperity and strength and the resilience of our community. I believe in the power of community empowerment, that all of us get together because we want the same things in Torrance. Torrance is a safe, resilient community, and we will do everything that we can to continue. If you want to know more about what I have done in my 18-month preview on City Council and what I will continue to do, you can go to my website, lewisfortorrance.com, and that's Lewis, the number 4, Torrance.com, or you can talk to me at any time that you get ready. I am very responsive with emails and text messages and phone calls, and if you want to go have coffee, let's go do that. It is the gathering and the empowerment of the community that helps keep us safe, to help keep us thriving, and to help reach those common goals together. I respectfully ask for your support on March the 5th. The ballots, pre-ballots are coming out next week. And if there's ever anything I can do for you, you just let me know. Thank you.
All right. Everyone, you can turn your phones on now. I know that's going to give everybody some relief. Sue, Margie, everybody give it up for them, the timers. That was stressful. Deep D, Carrie, with the questions. Thank you, and especially Athena and Nanette. And to our president, Gloria Gutierrez of the League of Women Voters. Real fast, thanks everybody for coming. We'll do a big applause for our candidates here in a minute, but your phones are on now, right? Vote411.org, bookmark that, and then lwvtorrancearea.org. You can find all the information about candidates, ballot measures, links to other sources of information. The deadline to register or re-register is February 20th. If you're registering or re-registering less than 15 days before an election, you have to do same-day voter registration. That's a process on the Secretary of State's website. Request your ballot in person at the LA County Elections Office or at a polling location. Online voter registration is available at, what's the Secretary of State's website? sos.ca.gov. Vote by mail or at the polls. Election day, March 5th. Encourage your family, friends, and neighbors to vote. You all are lovely. You seem like wonderful candidates to join us in the League of Women Voters of Torrance area. Gloria Gutierrez is our tremendous president. She gives so much of her life and time, even though she's got babies. Everybody, our president at the League of Women Voters, Gloria Gutierrez.
Thank you, Ryan. Members of the League of Women Voters do the hands-on work to safeguard democracy. While we'll never endorse a candidate, we are directly involved in shaping important issues to make our community strong. If you'd like to be involved with the people helping make democracy work, it's easy to join the League. We are inclusive of all genders, races, faiths, or lack thereof, and political affiliations. We have upcoming events on racism and the environment in March and April, in addition to our election-related work. We encourage you to visit our website or visit us on Facebook, and we also have a lot of information out there on the table. Thank you very much for joining us today.